Hello, I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of my brand new podcast, Press Play. So we are going to be exploring everything to do with play, whether that's at work, at home, at school, in the community. We're going to talk about films and theatre and stories, anything that is relating to play. I feel like it's something that we just need more of in our work, well, just in our lives. I think we are dealing with some very difficult things at the moment, and the more joy, the more fun, the more laughter, the more happiness we can have, the better. And to me, I think play is the absolute key with that. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Xanthe Milton and most people know me as Cookie Girl. I have been running a business since 2003. I started by walking around with a basket of cookies, selling to people in their workplaces. And I'm called the Cookie Girl because when I used to walk around with my basket, the receptionist would say, "Does anyone want a cookie? Because the Cookie Girl's here." And I thought, that's quite a good name for a company. I'm going to be called Cookie Girl. So over the years, that's taken me on lots of different adventures. I had a stall on Portobello Market. I sold cookies to all sorts of people. I used to go into all the recording studios in Portobello Road. And so I sold to all sorts of people, Take That, and Cat Stevens, Belinda Carlisle, all sorts of people. And then I was stocked by Selfridges as well. So I sold cakes and cookies nationwide. And then I did a recipe book for Random House, which I was very fortunate that it did really well, became a bestseller. And off the back of that, I sort of moved into what I do now, which is cupcake and biscuit decorating workshops, and I now am solely focused on the corporate world, and they are incredibly fun, really joyful, really light-hearted, and it's really an opportunity for people to play at work, and I think the benefits of that are just incredible. So I've seen over the last 20 years really the impact that playing at work has. And if you think about the most successful companies at the moment, like Apple and Google and all these really big companies, they really put play at the center of the way they run their businesses. Their environments, their workplaces are very much like playgrounds. And that's for a really good reason, because people are innovative when they play. They come up with new ideas, they take risks, they aren't afraid of getting things wrong. It's a great way to get people to collaborate. And let's face it, when you're playing, it's the opposite of work. You don't feel like you're working, do you? So there is an absolute freedom that comes with that. And that leads to people just being so much more imaginative, so much more creative, and clearly driving great success and benefits for the companies. Otherwise, those companies wouldn't carry on operating like that. So I think it will be really interesting to talk to people. If anyone watching is interested, has an opinion about this, I'm very happy to answer any questions that people have. I'm also really excited to be getting some guests on. So I'm going to be talking to school teachers and school children about what they think a more playful school environment could look like. I'm going to be talking to musicians, because that is literally, they play for a living. And all sorts of people, and people in the business world as well. So it's really a sort of a place for us to look at how we can create much more playful environments, how we can really lean in to that aspect of life. And I'm really interested to know what kind of things you already do in your life for play. So at work, do you have board games? Do you do quizzes? Do you have theme days when people maybe get dressed up? what, do you go on outings and do sort of fun stuff like that? So yeah, it'd be really great to get ideas, because I feel like if we start sort of collating ideas, then that's going to really help other companies to get ideas for how they can bring more playful environments into their workplaces. So yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because play is something that as children, it's all we do. It's sort of like our job, isn't it? It's something that we do full time. And then we get to an age where we're really made to think, oh, that's childish, and now you have to put play behind you. But actually, it's really the thing that brings us so much happiness. And it's really something that it enables us to explore, it enables us to investigate, it enables us to be curious. And those are all really important things, I think, to have in our lives and in our businesses and in our schools. I feel like I've got two children who were very, very lucky to go to a very progressive primary school, a state school, so, not fee paying. And that was an amazing concept. It was called the Film Academy, and all their lessons were taught through the prism of different movies. So every half term they would have a different film, they would watch the film, and then afterwards they would learn. So for example, if they did, God, I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, I can see we're going to be editing. Like if they did The Secret Garden as a movie, then they would look at, growing things in the garden that tied in with the film. They would look at their maths as perhaps being the sort of square footage of the garden. If they were doing for example, they did Up, the brilliant Pixar movie, and they then studied the geography of South America. They went to the Science Museum to learn about aviation, so it's basically really kind of project led, but everything would tie in beautifully with the film. And I think it was fantastic for the teachers. I think the teachers found it very inspiring to work like that, and the kids loved it because everything was kind of cohesive, everything was working together. But the main thing was that it was just a very, very playful school environment. So one thing that I remember particularly my younger daughter Teddy doing, which she absolutely loved, was they'd watched E.T., and the teachers, in an incredibly imaginative, creative way, went into the playground, and they had a bike and a bike light, and then they put some glitter and some glittery slime and some M&Ms and sort of various things, like a very creative, very fun crime scene. And they then had two of the teachers being witnesses, and all the children had to act like they were police detectives, and they all had their sort of notepads there, and they had to go to the crime scene and ask the witnesses various questions, which obviously was all relating to the arrival of E.T. And they then had to write a witness report. And Teddy loved it so much, she stayed in her lunch hour to finish the work. And that was just one example of how brilliantly creative and imaginative and playful the teaching at their school was. And we're so lucky that they had that experience. They're now both in high school, and it's very, very different. Obviously they get to do drama, which is great, and they get to do, art, which is fantastic. Not enough music. They are doing design technology, which is Teddy's favourite thing, because she's getting to make a puzzle in woodwork. So again, it's all sort of play related. And my older daughter is really struggling with, she's 14. Why should she have to go? It's no longer relevant to what she's doing as far as, the fact that all this kind of memorizing facts and learning these things is all stuff that AI is going to be able to do anyway. And it just makes me think we really need to just completely reevaluate the school system, because it's not preparing the children for the world that they're going to be heading into. It's basically still the same system as from the Industrial Revolution, which, we've had a few revolutions since that one. And, I just think, okay, I know it's a big job dismantling the whole school system and rebuilding it. But, there are things that would get the kids so excited to be there. Like, for example, having a sort of studio space where they could go and make YouTube content, or, all content. It doesn't even have to be for social media, just to learn how to make content, which, let's face it, is the sort of thing that is much more relevant right now to the sort of job that they could potentially be going into. And I'm just interested, it'd be interesting to talk to my sister-in-law, Shireen Jackson, who is a teacher, to sort of see with people that understand the school system, the ways in which it would be feasible to bring much more play, a much more engaging environment into schools, and one that is really teaching our kids the skills that they're going to need in the world that they'll be coming into, resilience and, taking risks, as in not being afraid to get things wrong, exploring, inventing, collaborating. These are the skills that I think are so important now that we just don't seem to be instilling in our children. So yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to getting deeper into. I'm also going to get my daughter to come on, Cozy, who's 14, to talk about what her sort of ideal school day would look like. And what the things she said to me the other day, she said, why can't I just do the things that I want to do, the subjects that I want to do at school, which are, drama, graphic art, film studies. I think she enjoys history. I think she enjoys English as well. But, she doesn't want to be doing all the academic stuff, which just doesn't feel super relevant, and also is just not fun. So how can we get kids to learn in a way that is more fun? I read a while ago about a school in the Netherlands where the kids are basically they're just encouraged to find things that they're interested in. So it might be they're fascinated by octopi, either or, pick which one is right. And then they'd be encouraged to research it. Then they might be, then it's like finding out, well, where do they want to go with this? Do they want to make a 3D model of it? Do they want to write a book about it? Do they want to go deeper into the research of it? Really just helping the kids to discover what ignites them, what excites them, what their passions are. I really think that is going to be the key for education moving forward. And I think we really need to kind of rethink schools, or at least we need some schools that are kind of breaking the mold. If anyone knows of any schools that are teaching in a more progressive way at a high school level in the UK, I'm really interested in finding out more. So yeah, that's something else that we're going to be delving into. And yeah, I just really want to create a space where we can explore all the different ways that we can bring more joy, more creativity, more fun, more humour, more collaboration, and just a sort of happier world in the ways that we can control. Because let's face it, there is a lot going on in the world right now that we can't control, and it's a very heavy place to be right now. And I don't want us to sort of not care about that and not do what we can about that. But I think the most powerful thing that we can do is keep ourselves energized and positive and upbeat, so that we can actually be a part of shifting things into, a society that is more supportive and positive and collaborative. So that's what I'm wanting from this. That's what I'm wanting to begin doing. Like, I'm, from it sounds like a big vision. I'm just, one voice, and I'm just hoping that we can just get more and more and more people just thinking about this, more bosses, more directors and CEOs and people who have the power to change company culture, to really look at what we can do to support people's mental health, reduce burnout. Just imagine if work was somewhere that you were excited to go. Just imagine that you got up in the morning and you thought, oh my God, I can't wait to get in. I'm really excited about this project. I can't wait to collaborate on that. Like, how do we go about moving away from work that feels like drudgery, work that feels exhausting and just like something that you've got to get through because that's your job, into something that is uplifting and positive and restorative? Because I really think it's possible. I really do. I think that we need to figure it out because, life's too short to just be living for the weekends, isn't it? And the reality is that the happier people are at work and the more they're enjoying it and the more they're making deeper connections with their friends, feeling more invested in their company, then, the harder they're going to work and the more benefit the company is going to get. So I think it's a win-win. And I think it's very sort of, it's very old-fashioned to think, play's nonsense and, we've got no time for that. We've got more important things to do. I think that is a very antiquated way of looking at things. And I think that companies that have that attitude are going to be left behind. So I think that the sooner people get on board with looking for ways to bring the joy, bring the fun, whatever that looks like, let's come up with some ideas. I mean, I have got some ideas. And, I also think, look, we are going through probably the most rapid revolution as far as, the incredible things that AI can do. The world is going to become unrecognizable in a very short space of time. And I think that probably what is going to happen is people are going to have a lot better work-life balance. Their work is probably going to be completed in a very short week, and they are going to have a lot more time off. It's the dream, isn't it? And I think that we also need to get good at not feeling like low because we've got nothing to do, but finding joy and fun in community, in social groups, in society as a whole. So how might that look? How can we start taking steps to move in that direction? How can we, bring people that are perhaps marginalized in society, into that joy and that fun and that positive, playful community environment? So these are all things that I'm going to be exploring, and I'm excited to get going with it. I feel like this has been a little bit of a long rambling start, but I just thought, I'm not going to script something. I'm just going to introduce myself, introduce what my idea and ideas are, and just get going with it, get something out, get people, to start thinking about it, and hopefully build up a community of people that are excited about the idea of play in all its very many varieties. I don't know how much sports play I'm going to be exploring. I don't know if I'm going to really delve into that word. That's probably the bit of play that is the least exciting to me. I don't play any sports, but who knows what I might come across. And so what day of the week is it? It's Thursday. Okay, so I am going to share a podcast every Thursday. There, I've said it now, so I have to do it. So come along and listen or watch, because I filmed this one. So I'm going to aim to get this out regularly, and I look forward to hearing some feedback from you guys. So have a fabulous rest of your day. And remember, you can find me on all the usual platforms. Just remember to press play. See ya.